Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, is opening up about her plans for Graceland and a promise to her mother.
For over 40 years, the upstairs of Graceland has been locked. No photos, no tours, no exceptions. But now, Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, is finally breaking the silence. What she reveals is shocking. Hidden rooms, sealed letters, secret recordings, and emotional truths the world has never heard. Could there really be a tunnel beneath the house? Did Elvis leave behind music no one's ever heard? And why is one room still exactly as he left it the day he died? Let's discover. The beginning Graceland, more than just a mansion. No cameras, no tourists, no exceptions. For over 4 decades, the entire second floor of Graceland has been completely off-limits, untouched, sealed, and protected like a time capsule. Even the most loyal Elvis fans have never laid eyes on it. But now, for the first time, we're hearing from someone who's been behind those locked doors. Riley Keough, Elvis Presley's granddaughter, is revealing personal and emotional details about what really lies upstairs at Graceland. What was Elvis hiding up there? Why has this area remained closed for so long? And what did Riley find that changes everything? To understand why these questions matter so much, we have to start at the beginning, not with the fame, not with the music, but with the house. Graceland wasn't always a global icon. It began as a relatively modest colonial revival home, constructed in 1939 by a Memphis printing company owner named S.E. Toof. The house sat on a quiet plot of land in what was then the countryside, peaceful, quiet, and surrounded by fields. It had just 10 rooms and was designed to look elegant but not extravagant, with clean white columns, arched windows, and a dignified front porch. In 1957, a 22-year-old Elvis Presley had just hit the height of early superstardom. He was restless, constantly followed, and needed somewhere to retreat from the chaos of fame. That year, he bought Graceland for $102,500, adjusted from the often-quoted $12,500 down payment. It wasn't the size or grandeur that caught his attention, it was the privacy. But that wouldn't last. Elvis immediately began transforming the house into something far more than a retreat. Over the next 2 decades, Graceland would become a physical extension of his identity. Loud, colorful, unpredictable, and deeply personal. One of the most famous additions came in the late 1960s, a room that would eventually become almost as legendary as Elvis himself, the Jungle Room. Covered in green shag carpeting, even on the ceiling, and filled with carved wooden furniture and exotic decor, this was no ordinary living space. It looked more like a rainforest-themed lounge than part of a southern estate. The room doubled as a recording studio where Elvis laid down some of his final tracks, including Moody Blue. It was strange, moody, and intimate, just like him. Then there's the meditation garden, located just behind the house. Designed in 1964, this peaceful, stone-lined area would later become the site of Elvis's grave, along with those of his parents, grandmother, and eventually his daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. Fans from all over the world visit this spot in silence, often leaving flowers, notes, and personal tokens. It's one of the few places where the excitement of Elvis fandom turns into something quiet and reflective. Since opening to the public in 1982, Graceland has welcomed over 20 million visitors. It's not just a stop for tourists, it's a destination for pilgrims. Fans from every continent walk through those doors hoping to feel closer to a man who transformed music and pop culture forever. Graceland is the second most visited home in the United States, behind only the White House. But even though the estate includes tour after tour of music rooms, awards, jumpsuits, and vintage cars, there's still one part no one has ever been allowed to see: the upstairs. It's not just closed to the public, it's locked, preserved, untouched since the day Elvis died in 1977. This is the mystery that continues to haunt fans and historians alike. What's upstairs? Why is it so protected? And more importantly, what stories are sealed in those rooms? For years, only a tiny group of people, family, staff, and close friends, have been allowed past that staircase. It's not because there's something scandalous or disturbing up there. It's because, to the Presley family, that space is sacred. The bedroom where Elvis slept, the bathroom where he died, the closet where his jumpsuits still hang. Time has stopped on the second floor. Riley Keough grew up surrounded by stories of Graceland. As the daughter of Lisa Marie Presley and the granddaughter of Elvis, her connection to the house is not just historical, it's deeply personal. And for the first time, she's offering glimpses into what those rooms meant to her, and more importantly, to him. The upstairs is where Elvis hid from the world, where he read, wrote, grieved, created, and unraveled. In a house known for its spectacle, this floor is silent, unseen. Yet, in many ways, it's the most important part of the story. The allure of Graceland has never just been about what's on display. It's about what's still hidden. Riley's insights into the upstairs give us something new, not just access, but understanding. What she found inside those locked rooms wasn't just memorabilia. It was memory, private, raw, and real. And it's time the world heard what she has to say. Upstairs Secrets. Riley Keough unlocks the upstairs, secrets and revelations. For over 4 decades, it was completely off-limits. No visitor tours. No video footage. No photographs. The second floor of Graceland, where Elvis Presley lived, and where he died, was sealed shut, protected from even the most dedicated fans. But in a move no one expected, Riley Keough, Elvis's granddaughter, and now the official owner of the estate, has begun to speak. And what she's revealed is nothing short of shocking. Behind the closed doors of that upstairs hallway are secrets no one outside the family has ever heard. Letters. Hidden compartments. Entire rooms frozen in time. Why did Elvis keep this area so private? And why has Riley decided to share its secrets now? For years, fans speculated that the second floor was locked off to cover up the truth, that Elvis never died, and that the bedroom and bathroom were staged. Some even claimed the Presley family was guarding a lookalike's death scene, and that Elvis escaped to South America. But Riley shuts all of that down. She confirms that the upstairs rooms are preserved exactly as they were on the day of Elvis's death, not because there's anything to hide, but because there's too much to feel. As she puts it, it's like he never left. Everything's still there. His clothes, his records, the books by his bed. You can smell the cologne. You can feel him in the walls. The second floor has been locked since August 16, 1977, the day Elvis died. It wasn't a decision made by museum curators or tour managers. It was a family order. Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, personally ensured that the upper level would remain sealed, not as a publicity stunt, but as a private sanctuary. The rooms haven't been cleaned out, restyled, or modernized. Even the clock above Elvis's bed is stuck at the same time it read when paramedics arrived. Riley, who spent much of her childhood visiting Graceland, recalls sneaking upstairs while the public walked through the lower halls. She and her cousins were told not to touch anything, but they watched, quietly, soaking in a world frozen in time. One of the rooms that stuck with her most was Elvis's personal study, a small, darkly decorated space with walls lined in deep wood, filled with books on numerology, Christian theology, and Eastern mysticism. Among them were notebooks filled with Elvis's own reflections on fame, spirituality, and loneliness. Some entries, Riley says, read like journal prayers. Others are more erratic, unfinished song lyrics, stream of consciousness paragraphs, scribbled quotes. One page, she recalls, just had the word free written over and over. There are also physical artifacts that Riley believes offer a window into her grandfather's state of mind. Elvis's bed, still dressed in its original silk sheets, is flanked by 2 nightstands, one topped with a Bible and handwritten annotations, the other with pain medication bottles, some still full. Tucked beneath the bed, Riley found a showbox labeled "Do Not Open." Inside, unsent letters. One of them was addressed to Lisa Marie. Another simply read, "To whoever finds this after I'm gone." These items, Riley admits, are too personal to release to the public. But she acknowledges they exist, and that they've changed how she sees her grandfather. In the adjacent bathroom, where Elvis passed away, almost everything remains intact. Riley refuses to speak in detail about the room out of respect, but confirms it's never been altered. Not even the towels have been replaced. The room is sealed with the same reverence as a mausoleum. For the Presley family, this wasn't just a place of tragedy. It was a deeply private space, where Elvis often locked himself away from the pressures of the outside world. Riley says he spent hours in there reading, meditating, and sometimes just sitting in silence. The bathroom, like the bedroom, was a refuge. Another space Riley spoke about, never mentioned in official Graceland literature, is what she calls the quiet room. A small, tucked-away area at the end of the upstairs hallway that Elvis had designed as a meditation space. With low lighting, cushions on the floor, and a soft hum from an old sound machine, this room was where Elvis would go to pray, reflect, or escape. There are no photos of it, no fan accounts, and until Riley mentioned it, no one even knew it existed. She believes it's one of the most honest parts of who he was, a man constantly searching for peace in a world that wouldn't stop looking at him. So why has she decided to talk about it now? Riley says that for years, the upstairs remained silent out of necessity. Her mother, Lisa Marie, had a protective relationship with that part of the house. It was too painful, too sacred, too unresolved. But after Lisa Marie's passing, Riley found herself in a new role, both as owner of Graceland and as the voice of a family legacy. She felt it was time to share the parts of the story that had never been told, not for spectacle, but for understanding. Not to exploit, but to connect. Still, Riley is clear, the upstairs will remain closed to the public. These stories, these revelations, are meant to give fans a deeper emotional connection to Elvis, not physical access to the rooms. Some spaces are meant to stay personal, she said. But that doesn't mean they have to stay secret. Is Elvis still alive? The most enduring theory in pop culture. Is Elvis alive? Could Elvis Presley have faked his own death and escaped through a tunnel buried beneath Graceland? It sounds like something out of a thriller novel, but to this day, thousands of fans believe it's not just possible, they believe it happened. What fuels this theory isn't just blind devotion or tabloid nonsense. It's the unusual details surrounding his final days, his need for extreme privacy, and the layout of Graceland itself, which some say includes a hidden underground passage built specifically for him to vanish when he needed to. Secret tunnel. The tunnel rumor has circulated for decades. According to some former Graceland employees and unverified visitor accounts, there's said to be a hidden passage leading from the main house to the rear of the property, or even beyond it. One popular theory claims it stretches beneath the meditation garden and leads to an unmarked exit in a wooded area behind the estate. The purpose? Depending on who you ask, it was either a privacy safeguard so Elvis could avoid paparazzi or an emergency escape route, just in case he ever decided to disappear for good. Those who support this theory point to Elvis's growing paranoia in the 1970s. He had microphones swept for bugs. He stopped performing regularly. He started pulling away from public appearances, and even inside Graceland, he rarely left the second floor. It wasn't just reclusive behavior, it was total withdrawal. For believers, this withdrawal was the prelude to a plan. So what about the tunnel itself? Is there any proof it exists? Official Graceland blueprints that are available to the public make no mention of such a tunnel. But these documents are incomplete by design. Graceland's second floor isn't shown either, and we know that area exists. Some former staffers have denied the tunnel outright. Others have said, cryptically, there are things not even employees are shown. The Presley family has never acknowledged a tunnel in any interview, memoir, or authorized documentary. But that hasn't stopped fans from trying to prove it.